Building out a precise and consistent social media plan is key to broadening your audience and making sure that you are doing all that you can as a social media marketer. Today, we'll be going over that and more with ABOR's very own Clarissa Ramirez. Join us in just a second. Welcome to RealtyHack, where we go over the top tips and tricks of top producing agents and team leads across America. Today, we're joined with Clarissa Ramirez. If you are watching this live or even in a replay, type the word agent in the remarks below and you'll be subscribed to future broadcasts as well as getting options to seeing some of our recent replays. I'm going to bring Clarissa on our program right now.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
Yeah, good to see you again twice this week. So Clarissa Ramirez is ABOR's Austin Board of Realtors social media guru, and she has done wonders in the time that she's been there. Our engagement with Austin Board of Realtors has gone up a whole lot. Can you tell me just a 2-minute version of like where you've come from and how you
Sure.
have been on Austin Board of Realtors?
Yeah, thank you. So yes, I'm responsible for all of our digital and social marketing, and I come from a journalism background. And since I've been on board, one of the side projects I've been doing is looking at a lot of our board members' profiles and doing these social media audits because I really do believe that we are our own brands, and it's important to have really great ambassadors. So during this process, it was great because I got to chat with you a little bit about this. I came up with a presentation that we're going to start implementing with staff as well as board members on how to really manage and, kind of keep your brand consistent, knowing where to look on social media and knowing how to really raise your flag so people can find you.
Yeah, and so Clarissa and I did a presentation to a group of brokers about a couple weeks ago, and her part of it was a little bit more technical and more well-rounded. I was doing my part on value-added content from agents and brokers, and I was really impressed by what you had. Do you want to go through that and just take us wherever you want to go, because I was very impressed last time, and I think that'd be great for the audience.
Yeah, sure. Well, the first thing is I'm actually going to pull up this presentation here. But the first thing to know is you have to come up with a plan, and you have to decide where you want to be and how you're going to manage it. But when you're doing that, sometimes people will just kind of start creating content and not really take a pause and say, why am I doing this? And does this kind of line up with what my personal brand is all about? So today, I specifically was going to talk about managing your personal brand online. And the first thing is definitely why you need to wave your flag. One of my favorite sayings, Ryan, is a rising tide lifts all ships. So I definitely believe that when everybody is doing a great job in an organization on social media, that increases the bandwidth of that organization. But also, it's if something is great is happening at ABOR or one of your companies, then it also helps your brand. So you want to make sure you're searchable, but you also want to make sure that you're sharing content that people can trust you with. They can see that you're an authority in whatever subject you happen to be in. So it definitely benefits your company when you are a strong social media ambassador, first and foremost.
Yeah, and I did the podcast with Emily yesterday, and it's airing this. Well, by the time this airs, it'll be aired on the Scratch That podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of the things that the epiphanies that I had was I was a little bit reluctant of kind of putting myself out there on social media. I've been doing it with my company, but like you hit the nail on the head. Is that there needs to be at least one figurehead of the company that people can get behind. And for me, I was the one that was already doing the training and the content for my agents for their own personal growth. And doing that for the company is making that rising tide, as you said.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing, so I had the fortune of going to South by Southwest under Austin Board of Realtors to bring back some information. And during that presentation that I did with you, I think one thing that strikes a chord with a lot of people is realizing that media is changing, and the future is we are going to be our own media companies. So we really need to acknowledge like our power of spreading a message and seeing that people are going to come to us for valuable information.
Yeah.
So definitely one of the first things somebody needs to do is you need to own your own brand by start searching. Whether or not you set up your accounts or you're going to just do your own edit, it's really important, if you haven't already, to set up some Google alerts with your name, with your company, to see what people are talking about, see what's out there. Also, you can totally use Facebook and Pinterest and LinkedIn search capabilities to search for yourself, and also see if there's any rogue listings that are out there. Sometimes an old employee might start something and you need to lock that down, check to see if the hours and information are correct, and make sure your own accounts are public when you're working with clients. Sometimes people, for some reason or another, make them private, but there's something about people just don't want to go through that process, and everybody's going to look for who you are. So if you have a private account, but you're a public facing brand, you should probably change that. And the last thing I wanted to add to that is just when you're doing these searches, reply to every review that you get, whether it's good or bad, because it shows that you're taking initiative and you're listening to what people have to say about your brand.
Yeah, and you're also creating engagement, right? And not just the reviews, but also in your posts. And this is something that we've been a little bit lax on. Kelly's been doing a good job of it for me recently. But if someone posts something, just a quick thank you or a comment to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. And it's also important for any brand to make sure you just record all your login and password information for your accounts. That way it's a livable document, just in case it was like, hey, we have duplicative Google businesses out there and we need to have ownership over that. So, if you have any questions on how do you see if there's rogue accounts on Facebook or Google and how do you control that, the easiest thing is just to Google it and it'll pop up right away. But, the other thing I wanted to touch on, Ryan, is being consistent with your brand. So I have an image. I was looking at Oprah, and she uses the same photo and the same handles across all platforms. And the reason is it's just easy when you have one handle and one photo, but also it creates brand recognition. That way, when somebody looks at Oprah, they say, well, this has got to be her real account because it's got the same photo. And it just sort of like implants that visual aid for that person's brand. So
name and face recognition. Right?
Yes, exactly. And keep it professional. I know sometimes people have really cutesy names that they like to share, but it doesn't make sense with your brand. If it's recognizable and if it's something you want to leave in their mind, whether it's your name or your business's name or your trademark, make sure you have that handle and you're sharing that one, not like a cute one like Friends for Life or I've seen some funny ones out there.
No, we see that. I've seen that with a lot of realtors that follow us. Is they'll have abbreviations and all that, but you need to have you're talking about a recognizable name brand that you can use across your platforms, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Another really interesting thing one thing I admire that you're doing is you're blogging and you're writing content for Inman, which is really awesome, but you're also producing videos like this. Mm-hmm. But the reason it's important is because original content is king. Mm-hmm. The thing is, sometimes you might spend a lot of time on it, but you should remember that you can repurpose that content on multiple sites. Whether it's your LinkedIn blog, which has an extremely high SEO, and a lot of friends of friends can follow that, or it's on some of your other accounts. A good way is I'm not sure if you guys are doing this, but are you following and posting trending content that you might see that's trending out there?
Not like we should. I know there's a site that we used to use that has that. You know what is that? Do you know what it is?
Well, sometimes I look on Twitter just to see trends, but
There's a site now. I'll think about it and put it in the comments that you can look at trending comment. But just just to interrupt you for a second, when we're doing on our consumer facing broadcast where we go, or like this is our agent facing broadcast. But when we do a live video to our consumer facing, whether it be a subject like writing multiple offers, what are the top 5 neighborhoods in Austin? The great thing about video is that it's in the spur of the moment, and you can, we might have some notes here, but we're gonna kind of ad lib based on our notes. And what we do after that, we'll put it on YouTube, then we'll put the YouTube video on our blog, and then we transcribe the video underneath it. And that helps for Google placement, SEO.
Yeah.
So that's, repurposing to its maximum effect.
That is brilliant. And I think that's super smart. And a lot of people need to think about how can they squeeze the most value from what they're already doing. And you can even consider, instead of saying, hey, let's do a 900-word post, break it up into a 3-part series.
Yeah.
Be mindful also of outbound and inbound links, which means linking out to content that is already really searchable, because that's very valuable content. If you look at it as a currency, you want to be attached to things that have high currency and already are ranked really high on Google. So make sure you double check to see who you're linking to, but also it's good to ask for links. And the way that you can do that is by guest blogging on other people, or creating that content and letting them post it and making sure they link back to you.
So with that, I've done that in the past. I need to do more of it. But like you said, guest blogging is a little bit harder to get to, but on the very simple way to do it is like through Medium, which you had mentioned before. LinkedIn, it's free. You can get link backs as well as Active Rain, which I know not many people. It's still a player out there. It seems a little outdated to me, but I did a few of those last year. One tip that I would tell you, though, if you're watching this, is that be careful what your anchor text is, okay? Because Google doesn't want you to have an anchor text, that's flooded with like best real estate agent in Austin or home for sale in Austin, Texas. They want something more vague. So if you're doing a guest blog about, the housing market in Austin, make sure it's, a longer anchor text, like housing market in Austin is doing well, right? Rather than housing market in Austin, because they will flag you if you have too much of that.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and one thing also I wanted to leave on the content is visually. A lot of, before I joined ABOR, I was working as an independent contractor, and a lot of clients would forget to instruct photographers to take both horizontal and vertical photos. And the reason I say that is because, again, if you, for example, wanted to do a story on Instagram and a Pinterest post, those vertical photos are going to look so much better than the horizontal photos, but you still need those for Facebook and for blogging and for PR requests. So making sure you have options, that way you're sharing it in a way that is visually engaging on each platform. Yep. So I wanted to touch on just a few pro tips on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'm sure that you might have some things to add to this, but just some tried and true things that kept coming up when I was looking at people's profiles is I have an image here of the inverted pyramid on LinkedIn. And it's really important to be mindful that you need to keep your LinkedIn up to date, because it's usually one of the top 2 things that pop up when people Google you. So if you have a really important, think about what people are looking for, but also really leverage any sort of title that you want to get out there, and make sure that's in your headline, or at least in the text underneath your headline. But another just tip is, again, if you're working with clients, they're going to want to read up on you. They're going to want to read all of your reviews. So think about the testimonials too. And also, give testimonials so that way you can receive some back. So just a quick little tip to not forget, I know we think a lot about Yelp and Google and Facebook, but testimonials are also really important on your account.
Yeah, and I would just a quick note about that is like, we have just recently started to pay more attention to LinkedIn, and you made a really good point is that like this is really searchable. It will show up, like you said, probably 2, 3, or 4 on Google, and this is what they look at. Well, I think we changed it end of last year where I hadn't gotten into LinkedIn since I started LinkedIn, and like my profile said, at the time I was doing a lot of foreclosure agent in Austin, and like, that's not what I do anymore. So you keep up to date on that.
Definitely. And I think one thing that y'all do really well is you're very mindful about tagging and using hashtags, and but it does confuse a lot of people. And so when it comes to Instagram, first of all, make the use of your bio section. Make sure you are tagging all the businesses you're affiliated with. That way people can follow them and look at the link that you have in your bio. One thing you turned us onto was Linktree, and there's a lot of different variations out there, but that way people can go into that link in your profile and learn more about all the different posts. But when you tag other businesses and brands, it helps when their audience is looking to see who's tagged them to learn more about you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And then the other thing too, when it comes to hashtags, I'm not sure if you guys are doing this or not, but think of strategic hashtags that you can share with your clients, right? Having a business hashtag. Consider your portfolio where you could say, hashtag happy clients ATX is the hashtag we use every time we get like a wonderful testimonial. You can find all of them right here. So that's a really amazing pro tip somebody had shared with me, is keeping it organized. That way you can just share it and be like, it's already curated for you.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah, and your own business name is a hashtag. If you're unique enough. I mean, like hashtag Spyglass Realty. You can go to Google and put hashtag Spyglass Realty, and you'll see all of my social profiles. Yeah,
definitely. The other thing is, I can't emphasize this enough. When it comes to Facebook, same with Instagram, is tag, tag, tag. Whether you're in a business, like it's just a very cost-effective way to get more people to see your post. A lot of people will passively post, I was with Ted at Bolden Creek Cafe, but they are not realizing that Ted's audience nor Bolden Creek's Cafe audience is not going to see that post. So just be cognizant of like, who else can I include? That way I can just get more momentum behind that post because I am including other people, and just make it relevant. But
yeah, exactly. I was going to say that. You need to make it relevant to the people you're talking about, the people you're there. Instagram has a limit of, I don't remember, 20, Kelly will put it into the notes, but I think it's 20 hashtags per post. And, otherwise they think it is spammy, right? And you don't want to overdo it, but you want to, like you said, just make sure it's relevant to either the people that you're with or the people you're talking about.
Yeah, like I think you can tag up to 10 people on Instagram too, Facebook. So that way they're all seeing it, and they could even share it and repurpose it for their own content. Again, as a professional storyteller, I think sometimes we have to stand back and say, are we being one-sided? Are we having conversations with people? Are we just, because you don't want to just be blah, blah, blah about my organization. Think about it as like a trio. Like, am I entertaining? Am I educating somebody? And am I sharing something about our culture? What's valuable to that person on the other end? So just varying your content and making it so that way it's surprising sometimes and readable. And then a last pro tip too is just to be, even though the videos are so great, you guys are doing this, which I love, but using subtitles when you can when posting videos. There's a subtitles feature on Facebook where you can go back and edit and add the subtitles. And the reason it's important is we have numbers to prove this. People are not putting on their headsets to listen. Yeah. And so if you're in a busy place, you can't just be like, unless you want to be listening to all their audio, it's great to have text to accompany that video somewhere. You can do it in your Instagram stories and write it along with the video.
But, yeah, and what you're talking about is a transcription, right? Yeah. And I believe the stat is that 75% of Facebook videos are actually read without sound. So, which we found is a little bit tough because Facebook video, like this video here, Facebook will automatically transcribe it, and then we'll go in and get rid of our, anything that auto-populated that was not correct. But we also do this on Instagram. Okay, so if we have a video like this video will show up on Instagram in either a 58-second clip or a series of 2 or 3 of them, but we have to go in and manually use what do we use, Kelly, for? That Kelly actually manually transcribes the 1-minute clip onto Instagram, because we want that to be read as well. And especially on Instagram, I would venture to say it's even further than 75%. And so what we do with that is we take this video, we're going to look for the best 1-minute clip. We're going to put that on Instagram, and then we're going to tell them to go to the link in profile to watch the entire video.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I just wanted to end with something, Ryan, which I feel like you guys get, but a lot of people are thinking, they feel pressure where they don't want to be sharing any personal information out there. They don't know what to share. But I just kind of want to tie the knot on this and say that brands are becoming a little bit more value oriented. As you'll probably notice, the Nikes of the world are taking a stance politically. And it doesn't mean you have to be political, but it just means that consumers are looking to see where your values are. So as long as you are thinking about how can we share that with our brand out there, social media is like a fantastic way to really connect with those people that get it and care and are going to value you because of that. Yeah,
and especially if you're a personal brand, and I'm the king of mistakes, right? So, share your mistakes. I mean, people don't want someone that's perfect. And some of the best training that I've done has been on stuff that I screwed up on, right? So, thank you so much for being on our program today. Guys, if you are watching this either live or on the replay, be sure to type the word agent in the remarks so that you'll be subscribed to our chat bot and get notifications of future programs, or you'll get prompted to see some of our past programs. And we also have an option if you want to have a 30-minute coaching session with me on social media, lead generation or anything real estate related. Again, type the word agent in remarks. Clarissa Ramirez, thank you so much. Thank you all the work you've done with the Board of Realtors, and it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Until the next time, appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. See you later.